Many older adults walk daily for exercise and mobility, but few realize that how you walk matters just as much as how often. According to recent mobility studies, more than 70% of people over 60 unknowingly adopt improper walking patterns, and this can lead to accelerated muscle loss in the lower body. Over time, such loss, known as sarcopenia, increases the risk of falls, weakens balance, and reduces independence. This video breaks down the most common walking mistakes among seniors, how they affect your muscles, and practical corrections to help you walk more safely and effectively. Why walking technique matters after age 60. Walking is often considered the safest and most accessible form of exercise for older adults. It supports cardiovascular health, improves joint mobility, and helps maintain balance. However, after the age of 60, muscle preservation becomes just as critical as mobility itself. One of the lesser-known contributors to age-related muscle loss, also known as sarcopenia, is improper walking mechanics. The aging process naturally leads to a gradual decline in muscle mass and strength. According to a 2014 review published in Age and Aging, adults lose approximately 1% of muscle mass per year after age 50, with a more noticeable drop in functional strength after 60. Walking, if done incorrectly, does not adequately stimulate the major lower body muscle groups, such as the gluteals, hamstrings, and calves. This results in an ongoing deficit that walking alone cannot compensate for, especially if technique is overlooked. Many seniors, often unknowingly, adopt compensatory walking habits over time. Common patterns include short, flat steps with minimal heel-to-toe roll, walking with a slight forward lean, or avoiding arm swing. While these changes may seem subtle, they significantly reduce biomechanical efficiency, leading to reduced muscle engagement and over-reliance on joints rather than muscles. Take Linda, age 72, who reported daily 30-minute walks, but continued to experience increasing leg weakness. After a physiotherapy assessment, it was revealed that her walking gait lacked heel lift and proper glute activation. Her walking routine, while consistent, was not supporting muscle retention. Once corrected with targeted cues and balance training, her leg strength and walking endurance began to improve within 8 weeks. This example aligns with broader clinical findings. A 2018 study in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity evaluated 2 groups of older adults. One walked without instruction, and the other received gait training emphasizing posture, stride, and arm swing. After 12 weeks, the instructed group showed a 17% increase in lower limb strength and improved balance scores, while the uninstructed group had no significant change. Muscle loss is not only about aging, it's also about insufficient activation of existing muscle fibers. If walking patterns are inefficient, especially with reduced stride length and passive movement, the lower body muscles may not reach the threshold needed for preservation or growth. This not only affects daily function, but increases long-term risk of frailty, falls, and reduced independence. In summary, while walking remains a recommended form of activity for seniors, how you walk directly impacts your muscle health. Proper gait mechanics, including full stride, heel-to-toe motion, upright posture, and arm swing, are essential to maintain muscle engagement. As muscle mass becomes harder to retain with age, even subtle improvements in walking technique can contribute to better outcomes in strength, stability, and quality of life. Common walking mistakes that contribute to muscle loss. As we age, subtle changes in walking patterns can become habitual, often without our awareness. Unfortunately, these seemingly minor errors can accumulate over time and contribute to underuse of key muscle groups, particularly in the legs and hips. Identifying and correcting these common gait mistakes is essential for maintaining strength, balance, and mobility after age 60. One of the most frequent errors is short, flat steps with limited heel-to-toe motion. Instead of allowing the foot to roll naturally from the heel through the midfoot to the toes, many older adults strike the ground flat-footed or avoid pushing off with the toes. This reduces activation in the calf muscles and leads to a more passive gait. A 2016 study in gait and posture found that reduced ankle push-off in older adults is closely associated with decreased walking speed and lower limb power, both key indicators of muscle weakness. Another common issue is excessive forward leaning or stooping. This posture shifts the center of gravity ahead of the body, which can strain the lower back and knees while disengaging the gluteal muscles. When the glutes aren't fully activated during walking, other muscle groups must compensate, leading to inefficient movement patterns. Over time, this contributes to muscular imbalances and further loss of functional strength. According to biomechanical data published in Clinical Interventions in Aging 2019, upright posture during walking is directly correlated with greater glute activation and improved stride length in older adults. Lack of arm swing is another overlooked factor. Although the arms aren't primary drivers of walking, coordinated arm movement helps balance the body and maintain rhythm. When arm swing is restricted, often due to stiffness, habit, or fear of instability, core engagement and trunk rotation are also reduced. This limits the body's natural walking dynamics and may cause a slower, less stable gait. John, 68, experienced recurring leg fatigue despite walking daily. A gait analysis showed that his steps were short, his arms remained stiff at his sides, and his upper body leaned forward slightly. After working with a physiotherapist on posture and stride correction, he noticed improved endurance and leg stability within several weeks. This improvement was supported by a gradual return of strength in his hip and calf muscles, verified through follow-up assessments. Visual cues such as dragging the feet, shuffling, or minimal hip movement may also indicate inefficient muscle use. While these signs are often attributed to aging, they can also result from habitual motor patterns that can be retrained with simple corrections. In fact, a controlled trial published in the Journals of Gerontology 2020 demonstrated that seniors who received weekly gait feedback showed significant improvement in step length, hip extension, and lower limb strength compared to those without feedback. Finally, poor footwear can amplify these gait mistakes. Shoes lacking proper arch support or cushioning may discourage a full walking motion. Seniors are encouraged to use supportive walking shoes that promote stability while allowing flexibility in the forefoot, enabling proper toe push-off and muscle activation. In conclusion, small changes in walking technique when left unaddressed can lead to a cycle of muscle underuse and gradual decline in strength. Recognizing issues like shortened stride, lack of arm swing, poor posture, and inadequate footwear can make a measurable difference. Correcting these patterns early helps preserve muscle, reduce fall risk, and extend independent mobility well into later years. Scientific evidence. How proper walking can preserve muscle in older adults. A growing body of research confirms that walking mechanics play a measurable role in maintaining muscle strength and function in seniors. Unlike general physical activity, which is often encouraged regardless of form, targeted improvements in walking technique have shown direct benefits on lower body muscle engagement, endurance, and balance, especially in individuals over 60. One of the clearest insights comes from a randomized controlled trial published in the Journal of Geriatric Physical Therapy, 2018. The study evaluated 60 participants over the age of 65 who were assigned to either a standard walking group or a gait training group. Both groups walked for the same duration and frequency, 5 days a week, 30 minutes per session. However, the gait training group received instruction on stride length, arm swing, posture, and heel-to-toe movement. After 12 weeks, The gait-trained group demonstrated a 17% improvement in quadriceps strength, compared to only 4% in the standard group. They also showed better balance and walking efficiency. This evidence supports a key concept. Muscle activation is task-specific. Simply walking is not sufficient if movement patterns are inefficient or incomplete. Older adults often unconsciously adopt compensatory strategies that minimize joint discomfort or conserve energy, but in doing so, they also reduce muscular workload, as noted in a 2020 review in Mechanisms of Aging and Development. Consistent underuse of muscle groups even during everyday movement can accelerate sarcopenia beyond normal age-related decline. Functional MRI studies further validate this connection. A study in NeuroImage Clinical 2017 observed differences in neuromuscular activation in older adults during corrected versus habitual gait. Participants using corrected walking patterns characterized by full heel-to-toe progression and upright posture exhibited greater motor cortex activation and higher electromyographic EMG signals in the glutes and hamstrings. These findings suggest that conscious gait correction not only activates more muscle fibers, but may also support better neural muscular coordination, which tends to decline with age. Karen, 69, participated in a local fall prevention program that included gait retraining. Before the program, she had a habit of leaning forward and using short, quick steps due to knee stiffness. Her trainers emphasized trunk alignment and ankle mobility. After 8 weeks, not only had her walking confidence increased, but she also regained measurable strength in her hip abductors and calves. Her case illustrates how mechanical efficiency can restore muscular function, even without adding new exercises, simply by optimizing existing daily movement. Additionally, studies on metabolic cost show that walking with proper form lowers energy expenditure per step. This is crucial for seniors who may struggle with fatigue. A 2019 study from the American Journal of Physiology found that seniors who adopted corrected gait mechanics had up to 12% more walking efficiency, which allowed them to walk longer distances without increased effort. This directly contributes to improved physical activity levels, further supporting long-term muscle health. In essence, walking is not just an activity, it is a neuromuscular event. When performed correctly, it can activate major muscle groups, stimulate coordination, and even reduce the rate of age-related muscular decline. For older adults seeking to preserve strength and independence, prioritizing proper walking form is a scientifically supported and immediately accessible strategy. The hidden impact of muscle loss on balance, independence, and health. Age-related muscle loss, or sarcopenia, is a gradual but serious condition that affects more than just strength. It has widespread consequences for balance, mobility, and overall health. When walking mechanics are poor and lower body muscles are underactivated, the resulting loss of muscle mass can trigger a cascade of functional decline, especially in older adults. One of the most direct consequences of muscle loss is impaired balance. The gluteal muscles, hamstrings, and calves play a central role in stabilizing the pelvis and supporting posture during movement. When these muscles weaken, balance becomes more reliant on joint structures and reflexes, both of which diminish with age. According to a 2015 study published in BMC Geriatrics, lower limb strength was a significant predictor of fall risk in adults over 70. Participants in the lowest quartile of leg strength were 2.6 times more likely to experience a fall within a 12-month period compared to those with preserved muscle mass. Falls are not only more likely, they are also more dangerous. Data from the World Health Organization (WHO) indicates that falls are the second leading cause of accidental injury-related death worldwide, particularly among people over the age of 65. Loss of muscle mass contributes to slower protective reactions, such as catching oneself during a trip or stabilizing after a misstep. With less muscular reserve, the ability to recover from minor imbalance becomes compromised. Linda, 72, began noticing that stepping off curbs or walking on uneven ground felt more difficult than it used to. Despite remaining active, she had gradually adopted a slower gait with shorter steps and minimal hip extension. A functional strength test revealed early signs of sarcopenia, particularly in her gluteus medius and ankle stabilizers. After working with a physical therapist to correct her stride and add targeted muscle engagement during walking, her ability to navigate inclines and stairs significantly improved, reducing her fall anxiety. Beyond balance, muscle loss affects metabolic health and daily energy expenditure. Muscle tissue is metabolically active. Its loss is associated with increased insulin resistance and a higher risk of chronic conditions such as type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular disease. A 2020 review in Current Opinion in Clinical Nutrition and Metabolic Care concluded that sarcopenia is independently associated with poorer glucose regulation, even in individuals with otherwise healthy body weight. For seniors, this means that inefficient walking mechanics not only reduce strength, but may also contribute to broader systemic health risks. Additionally, reduced walking speed, a byproduct of both poor form and muscle decline, is now recognized as a clinical marker of health status in older adults. The Journal of the American Medical Association, JAMA, 2011, published a pooled analysis showing that slower walking speed is significantly associated with increased mortality in adults over 65. In fact, each 0.1 ms decrease in gait speed correlated with a 12% increase in mortality risk. While walking speed naturally declines with age, it is modifiable with proper gait training and strength maintenance. Muscle loss also contributes to a decline in functional independence. Tasks such as rising from a chair, carrying groceries, or climbing stairs become more difficult when lower body strength diminishes. Over time, this can lead to reduced confidence, decreased physical activity, and even social withdrawal. These outcomes further accelerate the cycle of decline, known in geriatric medicine as the frailty spiral. In conclusion, walking mechanics influence more than just mobility. They affect the entire functional and health profile of older adults. When poor gait patterns contribute to muscle loss, the downstream effects include higher fall risk, reduced metabolic health, slower walking speed, and loss of independence. Addressing walking form early through education, assessment, and corrective strategies can help mitigate these risks and promote a more active, resilient aging process. How to walk correctly. After 60 key techniques to preserve strength and prevent decline. Correcting walking mechanics is one of the most accessible and effective strategies for maintaining muscle mass and functional mobility in older adults. Unlike starting a new exercise regimen, adjusting your walking technique requires no equipment, minimal time, and can be integrated seamlessly into daily routines. However, these adjustments must be deliberate and evidence-based to yield measurable results. One of the most important principles is maintaining an upright posture. As we age, forward leaning becomes more common due to spinal changes, reduced core strength, or fear of falling. This forward tilt shifts weight distribution and reduces activation of the gluteal and core muscles. According to a study in Archives of Gerontology and Geriatrics 2017, seniors who consciously practiced upright trunk alignment during walking demonstrated improved glute activation and greater stride stability over 10 weeks compared to a control group. Second, walking with a heel-to-toe motion is essential for proper muscle engagement. This natural rolling movement allows the ankle and calf muscles to contribute to propulsion. Flat-footed steps, common among older adults, decrease muscular involvement and increase joint strain. A 2019 gait analysis study published in Clinical Biomechanics found that heel-to-toe gait patterns in older adults resulted in higher activation of the gastrocnemius and tibialis anterior, helping to maintain lower leg strength and support walking endurance. Arm movement should not be neglected. Coordinated arm swing with the arms moving opposite the legs promotes balance and rhythm. Although often considered secondary, a controlled trial in Gait and Posture 2015 showed that adding arm swing to gait retraining improved walking speed and dynamic balance in participants aged 65 and older. This suggests that arm motion indirectly influences trunk rotation and core muscle engagement. Linda, 72, had been walking daily for years, but noticed she became winded more easily and felt unsteady when walking for longer periods. A physiotherapy assessment identified several common issues: forward head posture, minimal arm movement, and insufficient ankle push-off. With guided gait, training focusing on upright alignment and stride control, Linda regained not only her endurance, but also improved walking confidence. Within 6 weeks, her step count increased by 20%, and her walking speed improved by 0.2 meters per second, a clinically significant change for her age group. Another technique involves lengthening strides slightly without overreaching. Shortened steps are often a response to stiffness or instability, but reduce hip and hamstring activation. A 2021 intervention published in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity found that seniors who practiced controlled step length extension increased hamstring strength by 11% and improved timed up and go performance, a standard mobility test, by 15% over 8 weeks. Footwear also plays a critical role. Shoes should provide adequate heel support, non-slip soles, and moderate flexibility to encourage natural foot motion. Inadequate footwear may reinforce poor mechanics and reduce gait efficiency. Recommendations from the American Podiatric Medical Association emphasize that walking shoes for seniors should include a firm heel counter, cushioned midsole, and room for toe movement to promote proper gait. Lastly, walking surface and environment matter. Uneven terrain or poorly lit pathways can lead to compensatory movement patterns, such as shortened stride and rigid posture. When possible, seniors should walk in environments that are flat, well lit, and free of obstacles to allow focus on form. If balance is a concern, using walking poles or a cane fitted to the correct height can provide additional support while still allowing for full stride and posture engagement. In summary, walking correctly after age 60 is not intuitive. It is a skill that must be reinforced with awareness and proper technique. By focusing on posture, stride, foot placement, arm swing, and appropriate footwear, older adults can transform a routine activity into a powerful intervention for maintaining strength and independence. These small, consistent adjustments can collectively slow muscle loss, improve walking confidence, and support long-term health. Walking remains one of the most accessible forms of exercise for older adults, but without proper technique, its benefits can be significantly reduced. As we've explored in this video, more than 70% of seniors unknowingly adopt walking patterns that contribute to muscle underuse, balance issues, and long-term functional decline. These patterns, while subtle, can accelerate sarcopenia and increase the risk of falls, fatigue, and reduced independence. The good news is that small corrections, such as improving posture, restoring heel-to-toe motion, maintaining arm swing, and choosing appropriate footwear, can have a measurable impact on muscle preservation and mobility. These adjustments don't require special equipment or gym time. They can be practiced during daily walks, integrated into routine movement, and supported by regular self-awareness. If you're over 60 and walking is part of your routine, now is the ideal time to evaluate how you walk, not just how far. Consider speaking with a physical therapist or qualified trainer for a brief gait assessment. In many cases, a few targeted cues can significantly enhance the effectiveness of your walking habits and support your long-term strength and balance. For more practical health strategies like this, tailored specifically to adults over 60, be sure to subscribe to Radiant Health 60 and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. If this video was helpful, give it a like, and feel free to share it with friends or family who walk regularly. And in the comments below, let us know, have you ever thought about your walking form before your input helps others learn and stay motivated?